Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I live in an apartment, and 3 months ago a new family moved into the apartment above me. They have a child that looks to be about 2 years old. The first weekend that they moved in, the woman came to my door and I'm assuming she did the same to a few other people's doors as well, and introduced herself and her toddler. She also gave me a goodie bag of candies, which I thought was odd but kind. She explained that her toddler has a hard time adjusting to change and him getting used to his new room could cause some crying, and also mentioned he's quite clingy and will cry if she sits him down. She gave me her WhatsApp to contact her if he's being too loud. I thought this was considerate and thanked her. I heard some cry in the first couple of weeks and didn't mention it because of the adjustment period. But at a month in, it was still happening. Her kid doesn't really cry at night anymore, but during the day, I can hear his tantrums. And I work from home, so it's bothersome. I ended up sending her messages that the crying was disturbing me on 4 different occasions, and each time she took him out for a couple of hours, but then returned and he would end up throwing more tantrums. I then made a complaint to the apartment manager and was told that they could only bring it to their attention that there was a complaint, but they couldn't evict based on a child throwing tantrums during the day. In my opinion, it seems that a parent should be able to have these tantrums under better control, so it doesn't make any sense for this to be happening 3 or 4 times a day. I started to wonder if she neglected him during the day, so I made a report to DCS, CPS, and another to the sheriff's office. Officers responded the same day and looked like they left somewhat quickly after arriving, like 5 minutes. Then about a week and a half later, I guess a social worker had come by because the kid's mom came to my door and asked if I reported her. I told her I did and explained why. And she was angry and told me I have no clue what it's like having a toddler and that my actions were low and malicious. My boyfriend was over at the time and overheard. He said he couldn't believe I would put her through that, called me heartless, then left. He then texted me later that night and broke up with me saying he wanted nothing to do with someone who would try getting someone's kid taken away over noise. I don't think he's understanding that it's 3 to 4 tantrums a day. Am I in the wrong here? And now for some comments. You are absolutely in the wrong. Like to the point where I think this is troll nonsense and can't be a legitimate boast. And if this is true, I hope someday you understand the level of low, malicious jerkness you put on that poor stressed out mother and her kid. You are in the wrong by far. My kids are on a spectrum, and guess what, it has put me on the receiving end of this. It is awful trying to explain to the cops that the hour-long tantrum is over not going to the playground in 3 feet of snow. And 3 to 4 a day is nothing. That's normal as a toddler. Or because we left a small mall after being there for 2 hours. He at that age refused to go into any stores, just wanted to walk around. Edit. I will also add that if the kid is on the spectrum, there is not much you can do to get help. Getting a diagnosis or even a referral that young is extremely difficult unless you have an amazing pediatrician. It took until my kid was almost 5 to prove to the doctors, for lack of a better term, something was wrong. You are in the wrong. Crying doesn't always equate to abuse. The kid is 2 and he's still learning how to exist. I think the mom really went above and beyond to even take him out for a few hours when you expressed a disturbance. That was very kind of her considering she's under 0 obligation to do so. I'm going to keep game-specific lingo at a minimum so non-players can follow along. Commenters are encouraged to do the same. I, 34 male, started the D&D game with friends when my wife was 7 months pregnant. Wife isn't playing. I'm one of 5 players and the 6th friend is a dungeon master. This person leads and directs the games. We play online using an internet-based program. We play twice a month for 3 hours per game. was our most recent game just a few days before my wife gave birth to our baby girl. About a week after she was born, the Dungeon Master texted me asking if I will be okay with the group continuing to play without me. I said that's okay with me, but let me know when the next game is anyway in case I can make it. The next week the Dungeon Master sends me an invitation for the next game 3 days out. I discussed with my wife and we worked out a deal where I could play for 3 hours and she can take care of the baby, and I would stay up late and take care of the baby during the early morning so my wife can get some extra sleep. I then tell the D&D group that I can attend. About 10 minutes before the game was supposed to start, one of the players messages our text group saying he can't make it because his dad had some sort of cardiac episode the night before and he was going to the hospital to visit. I sent him my condolences and then asked the Dungeon Master what the plan was. The Dungeon Master said that she wanted to cancel and postpone because of our player not attending. I got pretty upset about this because I had really gone out of my way to make time to play. I was also upset because I felt there was a double standard here, where it's okay for the game to continue without me there, but not the other player. I responded back to the group that in that case I'm going to drop out of the game entirely because these games take a lot of planning for both my wife and me now, and I'm not okay with these last-minute cancellations. I got messaged privately later on by the Dungeon Master and by one other player saying I was being a jerk and that I was overreacting. So Reddit, am I in the wrong? Please do not hesitate to ask if you need clarification on anything. I understand not everyone plays D&D and I recognize I may have assumed things the average person might not know. And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. Having a family medical emergency is not the same as having to make sacrifices in your personal life for your growing family. You are in the wrong. I get that you're disappointed not to play, but there is a difference between a group proactively working around a long-time commitment like infant care and a one-off emergency like a family member in the hospital. In the best groups I've been in, the Dungeon Master has some one-shots ready in case an integral party member is unavoidably absent so that players attending can still have fun, since it's a challenge to block off so much time and the rest of us are here. Not every Dungeon Master is so prepared though. You are in the wrong. Wow. That took a hard right turn into jerkness Villa. You are going to be less available to play in general, so it's not possible to plan the groups around you knowing that. The other player had a last-minute emergency one time, which makes sense to reschedule for. They have been polite and accommodating to you, and you're reacting selfishly and childishly. Also, you had what? A 10-minute conversation with your wife? That's not a lot of planning. I have diagnosed anxiety issues, and one of my main triggers is loud and/or obnoxious noises. I relented a bit and don't say much about him, just bouncing the ball around. Even though it's annoying because on hardwood floors, it's really loud. But I get really irritated when he starts shooting and bouncing the ball off the walls. Also to note, it's a full-sized regular basketball, not a soft light or small bouncy little ball. The main problem is my wife doesn't seem to care and thinks it's great he's so athletic, which I agree he is. However, I can't stand or condone playing basketball inside a nice house, and I tell him our house is not a gymnasium and to take it outside to play instead. I usually start getting upset after like the 15th time asking him to stop, and then I resort to raising my voice to get his attention to quit after him repeatedly ignoring me. My wife typically then gets mad at me for yelling at him, and then I of course get defensive and pissed off at her. This type of thing is an ongoing issue that we're trying to work on, but I'm just wondering if this is really not a big deal, and I'm freaking out over nothing, and am I in the wrong for getting mad because I don't want him to play basketball inside our home. And now for some comments. Not in the wrong. No basketball in the house. Not only is that super annoying, but he's eventually going to cause damage. Not in the wrong. There is a limited amount of playing children should be doing in a house that you want to keep nice. There isn't a single logical reason to play with the ball inside. And next time he does it, take the freaking thing away for the day. How do you expect anything to change if you don't actually punish your kid? Not in the wrong. You don't play ball in the house. Who teaches their kid that is okay? Only a bad parent, in my opinion. I, 54 female, and my ex-husband, 55 male, have two sons, 19 and 20. And both are college students, although one is on a small break and getting some medical stuff taken care of. We have an informal system where we both pay for things like car insurance, cell phones, glasses, and contacts, and so on for the boys. It's pretty equitable for the most part, with both of us feeling like we are doing more than our fair share, but close enough. The boys are both on his insurance, which also covers his girlfriend and her daughter. They have one deductible for the entire group. I always pay quite a bit for their deductible, resulting in the rest of them getting their deductible mid in the process. After some thought, I don't think this is fair, and since having the boys on the insurance doesn't cost any more for the plan or the deductible, I should not be responsible for any of those costs. I did agree that if at the end of the year it turns out that the total expenses were more because of the boys, I'll pay half of that amount. Now for why am I being wrong? Son is having some medical expenses, and I have refused to pay. It got ugly quickly. Ex-husband said he would tell them I wouldn't pay. I said don't bother, I will tell them. And I did. Then I accidentally sent a comment to a group chat that I thought my ex-husband was trying to take advantage of me. I meant to only send that to my son, which may also be a jerk move. Each of us could easily pay the entire amount. But who pays what is an ongoing saga. And now for some comments. Everyone sucks. Glad you're both focusing on what's important when you have a sick kid, quibbling over amounts of money you can easily afford. You are in the wrong. Don't drag your kids into your petty fights. You are in the wrong. Not for questioning the financial arrangement, but for doing so at the expense of your son. Why would you pull this in the middle of a serious medical issue? Also, why on earth would you trash talk your ex-husband to your son? Girl, keep it to yourself. Your child is not your friend, and you have no business coloring the relationship he has with his father over your own personal issues. About 2 months ago, my husband and I got married in a beautiful ceremony. It was so much fun. We went on a honeymoon after, and the price tag makes me wheeze, but my parents were insistent on paying for 95% of it, saying it's their only daughter's wedding. As a result, the wedding was way more fancy than something my husband or I could afford. My husband and I paid the rest. His family did not contribute, which is fine. The wedding was lovely but missing one piece, the marriage license. And a year and a half ago, I was going through some serious health issues. The issues are resolved now, thankfully. And I had recently graduated from school and didn't have health insurance. My husband and I decided to get married so I could join his health insurance. It was a quick justice of the peace ceremony. We were always planning to have a ceremony at some point in the future. A few months after that, he proposed. Something I didn't see coming. The wedding occurred, and here we are today planning for kids. Very few people knew we got legally married about a year and a half ago. We weren't trying to be deceptive. However, part of it was that I wasn't comfortable revealing my health issues. My husband respected this. My parents knew about our legal marriage, but his mother did not. His mom, I will call her Carol, and I aren't close. She's fine enough in low doses, but we're currently in the process of moving. This past weekend, his mother came to help us pack up things. As we were packing files, birthday certificates, social security card, and so on, somehow our marriage license must have slipped out. Carol picked it up and kept insisting we need to frame it, and then she noticed the date. And Carol lost it. She insisted that we lied to everyone. We said our wedding ceremony was just a gift grab. Our wedding website stated that someone's presence was gift enough. We still got many generous gifts, and we are forever grateful. Carol went and called her twin sister. My husband's aunt and the sister called and lashed out at us. She said we were sneaky and deceptive. She's saying she may want her gift back, something we are fine with giving her. For me and my husband, the legal wedding was just so I could get insurance, a means to an end. Our wedding date is what we will celebrate. Are we in the wrong for not being more upfront? I've been really upset and confused and waffled back and forth. My husband insists we are not jerks. And now for some comments. Nope, you're not in the wrong. There is a reason why you only take Carol in small doses. Not in the wrong. Also keep in mind that gifts are just that. When somebody gifts you something, sole ownership of that thing goes to you. Not in the wrong. Also, your husband deserves an extra shout out for backing your decision. I'll be honest, I don't like my brother-in-law, my wife's twin brother. He's an addict, has stolen money, and my wife has had many sleepless nights because of him. I find him arrogant and disrespectful. However, he has been sober for 3 years. We decided to host Thanksgiving at my house this year. As a condition of his attendance, when he got to our house, I presented him with a drug test and told him he would only be allowed to stay and attend dinner if it came back clean. He got mad in my face and said that I had no right, that he was clean now and so on. We got in a shouting match before my wife broke it up between us and he ended up going to take the test. He was clean, but as family started to arrive, there was obvious tension between us and he ended up leaving early. My wife thinks I was out of line seeing as he was clean and he's been clean for so long now. I think she always looks at him through rose-colored glasses. I think I have the right to ask him for a test, seeing all the crap he put us through, but I seem to be in the minority on that one. Am I in the wrong? And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. You wanted to publicly question and it seems shame him for the crap he put you through, and rub it in his face that you still don't trust him despite 3 years of sobriety. If you wanted this test to be sure that he was sober before coming to your house, which I think is not constructive, but anyway, you could have spoken to him and your wife beforehand about that. If you simply don't want him in your house because you don't like him and because of his past offenses, you should have spoken to your wife about that beforehand. But you didn't do either. You confronted him with a test at the door when he arrived, making it the most antagonistic and accusatory way you could possibly deal with this. And it seems intentional. You are in the wrong. He's 3 years sober. You have to let people grow beyond their mistakes. You are in the wrong. I find him arrogant and disrespectful. Quote, I think I had the right to ask him for a test, seeing all the nonsense he put us through, but I seem to be in the minority on that one. You do not seem to have any reason to think he started using again. It sounds like you only made him take the drug test to demean him. Thank you for watching and see you next time.